Dear viewers, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of this live exclusive season of AHKAM SOS, live from the holy land of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein and his beloved brother Abil Fadl al-Abbas alayhim afdal salatu wassalam. And as you all know, dear viewers, this show is dedicated to be discussing Islamic laws, do's and don'ts, and to be answering all of your questions, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, you can send in your questions via WhatsApp, or you can just drop your question in the comment section below the live, or you could just give us a call via the numbers presented to you at the bottom of the screen, or you could just scan the barcode presented to you alongside with the numbers, and you can also give us a call. But before we get into the show, I am your host Musa Ali, and I would like to introduce our honorable guest, Sheikh Ali Maash. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you doing tonight?
Alhamdulillah.
How was this beautiful evening in
Great,
Karbala?
great. And the haram was great.
MashaAllah.
After iftar time, MashaAllah.
I hope you didn't forget our dear viewers in
yes.
your dawahs. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikh, thank you very much. Sheikh, we have the first question for the night. It says, it is from WhatsApp, and it says, is it permissible to eat foods prepared by Christians and Jews?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى أخيك أبي الفضل العباس ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهل الكتاب, they are pure and tahir according to some opinions, like Ayatollah Sistani, in which they are pure and tahir. And in this case, yes, one can actually eat their food, let's say vegetable, salad, as I've said before, if they prepare it with wet hands, moist, and so forth. There's no problem with it. Of course, if it's to do with meat and chicken, they have to make sure that they actually preparing the food, let's say chicken or meat, from the halal source. Because they can't eat haram meat and chicken if it's not slaughtered according to Sharia. So yes, they are tahir and pure according to some opinions, and some of course would not accept this, and at least they would do precaution, ihtiyat, wujubi with this case, that they are not pure.
May Allah bless you, inshallah, Shaykh. Thank you very much. We have another question via YouTube. It says, Assalamu alaikum. I want to ask, will doing a blood test for a routine checkup invalidate my fast? And thank you very much.
No, it wouldn't invalidate the fast. The fast is valid even if you do the blood test. It should be fine.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, Sheikhna. We have another question. It is also via YouTube. It says, will taking cough syrup or other liquid medications invalidate my fast?
Indeed, I mean, if you take any medication during the daytime of the fast, of course, that would invalidate your fast. If you can wait until iftar time and change the course, the doses in iftar time, that would be of course better. Otherwise, if somebody is ill, marid, then of course the sick or the ill exempt from fasting if they are severely ill, of course.
Correct. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, we have another question via YouTube. It is also via YouTube, and it says, what are the best surahs or dua for anxiety, sadness, or depression? And I believe we answered this question a few nights ago.
I mean, overall, there are surah in the Holy Quran. I've mentioned, I think, Surah Yasin, a great surah in the heart of the Quran, in which one can recite every morning after Salat al-Subh, for example. Ad'iyah in overall mentioned, if you go back to the Mafatih al-Jinan, the very last pages of the Mafatih al-Jinan's dua book, you'll find an index specifically to find exactly what dua you need for the stomach ache, let's say headache, or toothache, the ad'iyah for every situation. So one can refer back to the dua ad'iyah of the Mafatih al-Jinan at the end of the chapter to find out what exactly he needs or she needs to recite. And of course you have to go back to the medics and doctors with this regard as well. You have to make sure that you see the experts with this regard. You might need a treatment, a specific medicine to do so.
Inshallah, Sheikh, may Allah bless you, inshallah. Thank you very much. We have another question. It is also from YouTube. It says, if a person is very sick, they are advised not to fast. Should they fast or should they continue with their fasting?
If the doctor is trustworthy and they feel as well very sick, of course, they can break their fast in this case and make it up later of the month of Ramadan.
Yeah. May Allah bless you, inshallah, Sheikh. Thank you very much. We have another question via YouTube. It says, are you allowed to nebulize, use an inhaler or nasal drops while fasting?
With the inhalers that ulama mentioned, that if it's just the gas, there's no particles, and it doesn't go through the stomach, all the way to the stomach or the throat, it goes to the lungs, should be fine. In terms of, because usually these types of inhalers would go through the lungs because of the oxygen and breathing issues. So that should be fine. In terms of the nose, is it?
Yeah, nasal drops.
Nasal drops. If they reach the throat, then of course it will break the fast. That's the problem.
Okay.
So one should avoid, reaching any kind of liquids through the nose towards the throat.
Okay. Does this also refer to eardrops? Because some of them take eardrops, even if you felt the taste of that eardrop in your throat.
Taste is different. You have to make sure that the same substance doesn't reach the throat. The actual liquid, the drops, doesn't reach the throat. Yeah.
Inshallah. May Allah bless, inshallah. Sheikh, thank you very much. We have another question. It is also via YouTube. It says, Assalamu alaikum. Is wearing makeup and perfume with alcohol bad to wear during Ramadan?
Number one, alcohol in these types of, let's say, makeups and shampoos and soaps, they should be fine. Because usually they use industrial alcohol and not intoxicating alcohol. Unless somebody discovers, I think once I discovered, there's one of the perfumes sold in the UK, is made from champagne, drops of champagne, for example. That, of course, makes that perfume najis and impure. You can't use it in this case. You have salah, you have other things.
Correct, yeah.
But normally they use industrial alcohol, non-intoxicating alcohol. That's fine. Within the makeup, within the perfume, should be absolutely fine. But yeah, I mean, if they wear makeup within the ladies' circle, it should be fine, but not outside in the front of the men. Yeah.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikh, thank you very much. We have another question. I believe it is also via YouTube, and it says, is lobster halal?
Lobster, crabs, squids, all haram. You cannot consume them. The only fish types you can consume is the prawns and fish with scales.
Correct.
These are the exemptions.
Thank you very much. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, brothers and sisters, before we get back into the questions, I would like to remind you, you can send in your questions via WhatsApp, or you can just drop them in the comment section below the live on YouTube, or you can give us a call via the numbers presented to you at the bottom of the screen, or you can also scan the barcode presented to you alongside with the numbers, and you can give us a call, ask your questions regardless of any marja' you follow, and inshallah we'll be at your service and answering all of your questions, inshallah. Sheikh, we have another question via YouTube. It says, can I have an opposite gender friend?
So same gender? Or opposite gender?
Opposite gender, yeah.
Again, without any nikah contract, you cannot have any kind of relationships with that opposite gender. Yeah, unless it's professional, at workplace, study place, you're doing assignment, coursework, or some kind of project work-based, professionally should be fine. But to be, when you say friendship, that it's going to be beyond the professional relationship. In other words.
Maybe they go out, they have dinner. They
chat, laugh, banter, crack jokes. That's, of course, would lead to haram, of course.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikh, thank you very much. We have another question via YouTube, and it says, I travel a lot for work, so need to fast and pray full. If I am on holiday, not work relevant, do I still fast?
Basically, if you go to the same place, which was your workplace or study place, for holiday, or to attend the majlis, or to see a friend who is ill, you have to break your fast and pray short. Because this journey is no longer a work-based journey and travel, or a study-based travel. It's now it's a short break, let's say 1 or 2 days. Then you have to break your fast, and of course pray short and qasr as well.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, we have another question via YouTube. It says, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
Is the tuna fish halal at West?
Seems to be from what I've been told, that it's halal. The types could be different. There's a bit of argument about it. Some would not even agree to consume, as a precaution, the tuna, but many would allow for this purpose. The percentage of scales on the tuna fish is low, but even that low would allow for the one to consume the tuna as well. Yeah.
Inshallah, may Allah bless, inshallah. Sheikh, thank you very much. Before we get back into the answers, I believe we have a call from one of the dear viewers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak, and may Allah accept your deeds.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. May Allah bless you, inshallah, brother. Ramadan Mubarak to you and your blessed family, and may Allah accept your deeds.
Shukran jazilan.
At your service, brother. May Allah bless you.
I have a question.
At your service.
So I have an operation tomorrow, and before the operation I was told I would be given an anesthetic injection to put me to sleep.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if my fast will still be valid after the operation.
At your service, inshallah. May Allah bless you. We'll have your question ready, inshallah, or your answer, sorry. Thank you very much.
Ahsant. Basically, if this issue continues from the morning till afternoon,
No.
so you have the Salat al-Dhuhr, he misses Salat al-Dhuhr because of being in this situation, then of course that day's fast has been invalid, and he needs to make it up later.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikh, thank you very much. We have another question via YouTube, and it says, should I fast while I am pregnant because of the rewards and blessing to the child?
Well, if that affects your, in terms of, you get, let's say, weak, you yourself or your child, of course, you have to stop fasting. But if you can, I don't want to say that you can fast, but if you can't, then you should break your fast as a result. So it depends on your condition. Can you fast? Especially the first few months.
Yeah.
If you can fast, of course, you need to fast. Otherwise, if you feel weak, then of course, the situation you can't bear, then of course, you should break your fast in this case.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, brothers and sisters, before we get back into the questions, I would like to remind you once again that you can give us a call via the numbers presented to you at the bottom of the screen, or you can also scan the barcode presented to you alongside with the numbers, or you can just give us a call. Or you can send in your questions via WhatsApp, or you can just drop in your questions in the comment section below the live, and inshallah we'll be at your service and answering all of your questions. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Thank you very much. We have another question via WhatsApp, and it says, during ghusl, does only the water have to cover the whole body as well as touch over the body? So, like, does it have to cover the whole entire body, or?
It depends. If your intention is to do immersion ghusl or ghusl irtimasi, diving ghusl inside the pool, of course it has to cover all the body.
Yeah.
And with the one intention of ghusl,
yeah,
Qurmatullahi ta'ala, with that 2 seconds is all done. The ghusl is done under the water. But for the tartibi ghusl, of course, you have to wash the head first, and then the neck, and then the right side and the left side. So it comes gradually, step by step. But for the immersion ghusl, irtimasi, no, it's just the whole body should be covered under the water.
Thank you very much. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, we have another question via YouTube, and it says, can we as Shia pray behind the Sunnis, our brothers in Islam?
You see, we have in our fiqh that the one you pray behind, even if he's a Shi'i, he must be just, and you have to find out that he's just or not just. You have to have the ihraz al-adala, as they say.
Yeah.
You have to achieve and establish that this individual that you pray behind is adil.
Yeah.
By asking those who pray behind him, or if you know him personally, or your friends know him,
yeah,
you don't have to, of course, dig inside his profile or his life. No, it's just a zahir of adala. That should suffice. So that's for the Shi'i imam. Let alone for the non-Shi'i imam, that you can't pray, of course. the one who does not submit to Wilayat Ahl Bayt alayhim salam, you can't pray behind him, and your salah would be batil as well. So one should avoid, unless you pray with the intention of furada, it's you're in Haram al-Makki or Madani, and you're stuck in the middle of thousands of Musallin, then of course you make the intention of furada, and you pray with their movements and in salah.
Okay. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Shaykhna, thank you very much. We have another question. It is via WhatsApp. It says, Assalamu alaikum. Is it okay to learn piano as a hobby and for personal use only?
Of course, as I've said before, the ulama mentioned about the forbiddenness of entertaining and corruptive music, as mentioned in the Kutub al-Fiqh by some of the ulama, that that type of music is not permissible. But for the non-entertaining or the classical music, which is not played in, let's say, nightclubs and bars and so forth, that would be allowed. But for one who wants to learn piano, I mean, we have lots of other subjects to learn, to be honest, which is more useful. I don't know how much playing or learning piano would help. I think we need people to come forward and help each other in terms of being nurses, teachers, scholars, other aspects of fields in which we need to fill in. We have lack of people in these fields, you know, first aid, for example, and so forth. I think we should concentrate on what is beneficial for the human beings and for our religion, inshallah.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Shaykhna, thank you very much. We have another question. It is via YouTube, and it says, Assalamu alaikum. If we have constant wiswas during namaz, then how can one overcome this problem?
Of course, the waswasa is from the shaitan, as mentioned in the hadith by the Imam alayhi salam. It's from the shaitan. So the best way is to ignore these waswasa. Try to say, I'm praying correct. You know, my ghusl and wudu is correct. I'm not going to repeat it. Just be stubborn with shaitan and just continue and carry on with your salah and a'mal. One of the ways in which you can cure this situation also is to recite Surah Yasin every day.
MashaAllah. That
will somehow relieve and takes away this waswasa, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you, inshallah. We have another question via WhatsApp. Sorry, it says, can I eat Christians' food that contain meat?
If they've slaughtered it, of course, it's not allowed to eat slaughtered meat by the non-Muslims. You must make sure it's a halal meat slaughtered by a Muslim with the conditions of having sharp blade, Bismillah, and all these issues.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Thank you very much, Shaykhna. We have another question. It is via YouTube, and it says, there is an Islamic butcher shop near my house, but the owner is Wahhabi and Nasibi. Can I buy halal meat from him? Of course, I have other options, but they are a bit far away.
I mean, what do you mean by Nasibi? Does he actually curse, na'udhu billah?
Na'udhu billah.
The great, infallible, salamullah alayhim. Because we have lots of Wahhabis work in these shops, and we buy our food, I mean, our meat and chicken from them. So Nasibi, of course, has a different hukum with this regard. So it depends how do you define the Nasibi yourself. When it comes to na'udhu billah, this issue, of course, we have to prevent. But in overall, if he's a moderate, let's say, he doesn't curse those individuals, salamullah alayhim, of course, you can buy from them.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you, inshallah, Shaykhna. We have another question via WhatsApp. It says, I want to pay my religious dues. Who should I pay them to? So I believe like khumus or zakat or...
Best thing is to contact the office of your marja and to find out how to pay it. Because sometimes you can ask for permission. If you have yourself, you know, some orphans, you know, poor individuals, you can take ijazah, maybe half of the share, to give it to those who are in need of these sadaqah, or let's say khumus and zakat and so forth.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Thank you very much, Shaykhna. Brothers and sisters, before we get back into the questions, I would like to remind you once again that you can give us a call via the numbers presented to you at the bottom of the screen, or you can just scan the barcode presented to you at the bottom of the screen as well. And you can also give us a call, ask your questions regardless of any marja you follow, and we'll be at your service inshallah. Or you can also send in your questions via WhatsApp, or you can drop them in the comment section below the live, and inshallah we'll be at your service and answering all of your questions inshallah. Sheikhna, we have another question via YouTube. It says, if one is going to work soon and there is more males and requires a lot of company, industry experience, gatherings, drinks, etc., there's required to get points to get their license and maintain the job. So I'm like, is this halal or haram?
As long as the individual prevents himself or herself from the haram, it should be fine. You know, if you do not associate yourself with the haram, let's say with the being in one place of dining table with alcohol being consumed, you stay away from that table, for example.
No.
You don't join them in the parties, you know, music and dance in, let's say, Christmas time, for example. Yeah, you can go work in that place, it should be fine. But just avoid the haram.
No.
And you can carry on with your work, it should be fine.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, we have another question. It says, what is the reward of saying salam to a believing individual?
We have in the hadith by Imam Amir al-Mu'minin Ali alayhi salam, he says, as-salam sab'un hasana. The salam has 70 rewards.
No.
But who gets the bigger portion and share? 69 للمبتدئ. The one who initiates the salam, starts the salam, he gets 69 points and rewards. Imagine.
MashaAllah.
Encouraging people to say salam. وواحدة للراد. And the one who gets 1 point or 1 reward is the one who responds and he says wa alaykum as-salam. So alhamdulillah, you're getting more points than me every night. Rewards, mashallah. Initiating the salam. Jazakallah khair.
Inshallah.
There's another hadith from Imam Sadiq salamullah alayhi with this regard. He says, من التواضع أن تسلم على من لقيت. It's part of the humbleness to say salam to whoever you meet in the street, for example. That's humbleness. Even if you do not know him, he's a strange person, you say salam alaykum. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say salam to the children in the street. Imagine the leader of the Muslim ummah in that time of the state, he would walk in the streets and alleyways of the Medina and say salam to the children. Imagine. This is how Islam taught us to be humble, even if you are in such a important and prestige position in the society.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikh, thank you very much. Brothers and sisters, before we get back into the questions, we will take a very short break to leave you with the beautiful atmosphere in Karbala for this night. And inshallah, after we'll be taking in your questions, taking in your calls, I will be at your service and answering all of them. Inshallah, may Allah bless you, inshallah. I will be at your service. We'll take a very short break. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you very much.
I have a question regarding keeping pictures of scholars.
Is it permissible to plant trees by or over
Islam
the
establish based on peace and
Is it permissible
non-violence?
to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim
Is there an
countries?
issue for men looking at non-Muslim women?
To have your questions answered live, WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155.
Dear viewers, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome once again to the exclusive season of Ahkam SOS. And we are at your service in accepting all of your questions and calls, and to be asking all of your questions and to be answering them, inshallah, regardless of any marja you follow. Shaykhna, I believe you have a portion of a dua for the night.
Inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In this daily dua that we have in the month of Ramadan, for each day there's one or two lines of dua.
Yeah.
One of these ad'iyah, we say to Allah Azza wa Jal, Allahumma ij'alni fihi min mutawakkilina alayk. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us amongst those who place trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. Tawakkul Allah means you don't care about anything, poverty, about anxiety, difficulties, all you leave it to Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's important, that we have tawakkul in our intention and niyyah, and we don't fear anything, poverty, difficulty, and so forth. وَاجْعَلْنِي فِيهِ مِنَ الْفَائِزِينَ لَدَيْكَ.
Allahu Akbar.
Ahsan. Make us amongst those who are winners.
Yeah.
And of course, faiz, the winner, is the one who goes to paradise. Because if you're, na'udhu billah, loser, you go to where?
Hell.
Na'udhu billah.
Na'udhu billah.
So we ask Allah to be the winner, because you have only black and white.
Yeah, correct.
Hell and heaven, nothing else.
There's no middle. There's no middle road.
Ahsant.
Yeah.
Then we say to Allah Azza wa Jal, وَاجْعَلْنِي فِيهِ مِنَ الْمُقَرَّبِينَ إِلَيْكَ, and makes us to be closer to you, Allah Azza wa Jal. The closer we get to Allah, our perfection increases.
Yeah.
Takamul would increase, of course, and one can reach to what Salman, Abu Dhar and Ammar have reached. We can.
They're just normal people.
Exactly. They weren't infallibles or prophets.
Yeah.
So we can try to reach that stage in which those great companions of the Prophet ﷺ and the Imams have reached their companions. Do our best, inshallah.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, inshallah. Shaykhna, we have another question. It is via YouTube, but we have a follow-up to the question where the person that buys the meat from a Nasri butchery. And it says that the butcher shop that he mentioned earlier is a public nasabi, meaning he insults the Shi'as and the Ahl al-Bayt. And what is the verdict in regards to this specific question? Sorry.
One should avoid such individual.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to buy from somebody who would, na'udhu billah, curse the Shia and their leaders. You know, stay away from those individuals, definitely.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, Shaykhna. We have another question via YouTube. It says, if we stay in a country where the majority are neither Muslim or from Ahl al-Kitab, can we consume food from their hand?
You see, you have to make sure that you get your meat and chicken, the halal ones, either from the Muslim market, which is a hujjah proof.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask about the source. If you go to any Muslim market, you buy this, let's say, animal skin or meat and chicken, you don't have to ask about the source.
Yeah.
It's a Muslim market, that's it. It's a hujjah for the haliyah, for the being halal. Or Muslim hand. The Muslim, in the middle of this non-Muslim market, there's one Muslim who sells halal meat and chicken. Again, it's a proof that you can take your meat and chicken from this Muslim butchery, in which is a Muslim hand, which is also a proof and evidence and hujjah for the one to buy from them.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Shaykh, thank you very much. We have another question via YouTube. It says, does junub during the month of Ramadan invalidate the fast or not?
No, you just have to go and wash the wajib ghusl for the salah and so forth. It should be fine.
Correct. So that's unintentionally, but intentionally is...
Exactly. If he woke up in the morning and he's fasting and he's in the state of impurity, of course, the fast is valid. Just go and do the wajib ghusl and that's it.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Thank you very much, Sheikhna. We have another question via YouTube. It says, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Salam.
Does putting on perfume or cologne break one's fast?
It's the opposite. We have a narration that the perfume is tuhfatul sa'im. It's a masterpiece for, or a gift for the one who's fasting. No, wear perfume while you're fasting. It's even recommended. But just to avoid any liquid reaching your throat. So when you spray it, just make sure it doesn't reach your throat. That's it really.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, inshallah, Sheikhna. Dear viewers, before we get back into the questions, I would like to remind you all that you can give us a call via the numbers presented to you at the bottom of the screen, or you could just scan the barcode presented to you alongside with the numbers, or you can send in your questions via WhatsApp, or you can just drop them in the comment section below the live, and we'll be at your service in answering all of your questions, regardless of any marja you follow. Inshallah, we'll be at your service in answering all of your questions. Sheikhna, we have another question. It is via WhatsApp, and it says, Assalamu alaikum. I know that when a non-Muslim says salam to us, we should respond by saying alaikum assalam. Now, what about if we don't know the religion of that individual? And thank you very much.
It depends where you live. Majority Muslims or non-Muslims. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. May Allah bless you, inshallah, Sheikhna. We have another question via YouTube. It says, it is regarding reading dua. I am neither fluent in Arabic nor my native, nor is it my native country language. Sorry. It says, how can I make proper dua for myself, family, or community in English?
Alhamdulillah, now we have translation for the ad'iyah. If you go to dua.org, you'll find all the ad'iyah.
Correct, yeah.
Translated, even you can listen to the ad'iyah. There's a video as well for each dua, audio. So you can easily follow up for each line of dua with the translation. I don't think that should be a problem, inshallah.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, inshallah, Sheikhna. We have a question, it is via WhatsApp, and it says, Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak to you as well, dear viewer. And it says, my question is, if I work as a dishwasher in a restaurant and have to wash cups that have been used for alcohol, is it permissible for me to wash them? Also, is it permissible to clean spilt alcohol and clean bins that contain alcohol? And jazakumullah khair.
You see what is mentioned in the fiqh about the forbiddenness of alcohol when it comes to serving the alcohol on the table. You're not allowed to serve alcohol or wine on the table for a customer, for example. That's forbidden. And the same applies to serving pork meat.
Correct, yeah.
On the table. That's the muharram. That's the forbidden issue that one should avoid. That's the haram.
Inshallah. May Allah bless you, inshallah, Shaykh. Thank you very much. We have a question. It is via YouTube. It says, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykhna. I believe that tawassul is allowed, but I believe asking directly, like Ya Ali Madad, is shirk, since Imam Ali alayhi salam is not present everywhere, same like Allah in the present world.
The Holy Quran states, وَابْتَغُوا إِلَيْهِ الْوَسِيلَةِ. Seek means to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal wanted us to get to Him through these great infallible, salamullah alayhim.
Salamullah.
Because they are clean from any sin and wrongdoing and filth.
No.
وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. Thorough purification. So I would ask those individuals who are pure and close to Allah to basically ask Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive my sins or hajat and so forth. Because they are the closest creation to Allah Azza wa Jal, Muhammad wa Muhammad salamullah alayhi.
Yeah, it's not like we're asking, you know, from like for that certain infallible to grant. Yeah.
Exactly. If the brother can go back and read dua at-tawassul that we have in Mafatih al-Jinan.
Yeah.
Ya wajihan 'inda Allah, ishfa' lana 'inda Allah.
Correct, yeah, yeah.
We ask Allah Azza wa Jal through them.
Yeah.
Read dua tawassul and you find, inshallah, the answer there in full.
Inshallah. May Allah bless you, inshallah, Shaykhna. We have another question via YouTube, and it says, as a Shia, would you will be allowed to marry a Sunni?
Yes, you can, but what is important that if either side, you know, the male or the female, they have to make sure that they preserve and observe their aqeedah, and not basically as a result of if it's a Sunni man, for example, would force his wife to become a Sunni as well. In this case, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
So you keep your aqeedah, and inshallah you also guide the other one towards the true path of Ali Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That would be the credit as well, and thawab.
Inshallah. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, we have another question. It says, Assalamu alaikum. Can you please recommend a reputable charity organization for a Shia orphanage?
If it's in Iraq, we have, I think, Al-Ain, very famous.
Yeah.
We have also in this channel, IHC, I think, charity as well. It's your choice to choose which charity to actually. We have Al-Zahra Trust, again in London, IHC in London, Al-Ain in Karbala, in Iraq, and overall. So it's up to you to choose the ones, of course, that you are happy to give your money to.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, we have another question via YouTube. It says, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I am 18 and want to find a job, but most stores play haram music or sell haram food, and most office job require prior work. Some advice, please, and thank you very much.
Well, initially you have to have this belief that Allah is the one who is Razzaq, sustainer. So not the job that you're going to get. So He is the source of the rizq that He gives to His servants. And number two, of course, you have to find a halal job. You cannot find a haram or mixed haram halal job. You have to have a pure halal job so that you can feed your family with halal food and drink. Otherwise, na'udhu billah, one might find out that the children have taken the wrong path as a result of eating the haram. As Imam Hussein said in Ashura, that مُلِئَتْ بُطُونُكُم مِنَ الْحَرَامِ, that your stomach was filled with haram because they paid them to come to Ashura to kill Rayhan Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, we have another question. It is via YouTube, and it says, my friend got into a heated argument with a man and it ended up with a physical fight. Is there anything that my friend have to do apart from istighfar?
Of course, in terms of the istighfar, that's number one. That's, of course, to basically ask Allah's repentance. But did he leave any red or black or blue marks on the body of the other individual? So that's the issue.
So if he were to leave, he has to pay the diya, or
if he can ask for pardon and forgiveness from that individual, that would help him somehow. Would be a better choice.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikhna, we have another question via YouTube. It says, in my campus, I have been praying to the wrong qibla for almost 2 years. I have done umrah, but I wonder if I still have to redo my prayers.
If it's the opposite side, so the qibla you prayed this way, it was actually in the back side. Exactly. Opposite side, of course, you have to do the qada and pray them again. If it's within 90 degrees, left to right, that should be fine. You don't have to pray it again.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Sheikh, thank you very much. We have another question. It is via YouTube, and it says, is a Shia way of prayer and a Sunni way of prayer two different prayers? If yes, how?
Anas bin Malik, one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, he says that after the Prophet's demise, and what happened, you know, the Khilafah system which began, he said that even the salah that we used to pray has been changed and altered. He says, Anas, the narrator of hadith, famous narrator of hadith. So sadly, because they took the wrong path and did not follow the right path, that's why you see that everything has been changed. You know, the ahkam being changed as a result of choosing the wrong leader for Muslims. The leader should be chosen by Allah Azza wa Jal through the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In this famous hadith that I mentioned many times, that the Prophet said that I leave two weighty things, the Book of Allah and my progeny, Ahl Bayti.
Yeah.
Why do you go to others? When you have Ahl Bayt alayhim salam, when you have Ali alayhi salam, when you have Hassan and Hussein alayhim salam, why do you go to others? You have the best of the people. You have Ahl Bayt, Ayatul Tathir, wa yutahhirakum tathira. Why do you go to others?
Yeah.
So it's their fault in basically choosing the wrong person as a result.
Yeah.
And eventually would lead to the wrong ahkam.
Correct, yeah.
Everything would be wrong.
May Allah bless you, inshallah, Sheikh. Thank you very much. Brothers and sisters, before we get back into the questions, I would like to remind you once again that you can give us a call via the numbers presented to you at the bottom of the screen, or you can just scan the barcode and also give us a call, or send in your questions via WhatsApp, or you can drop them in the comment section below the live. I'll be at your service in answering all of your questions, regardless of any marja you follow, inshallah, and may Allah bless you all. Sheikh, we have another question via YouTube. It says, are the meats of rabbit or duck halal, and what about amphibian like frogs?
The frogs and rabbit that's not permissible. It's haram to consume.
But the duck is halal.
Seems to be, yeah.
Yeah, okay. May Allah bless you, inshallah, Sheikh. We have another question via YouTube. And it says, Assalamu alaikum. If one is taunted on color, weight, or anything which hurts, in this case, the person does sabr and tawakkul on Allah. Besides that, what can he do?
You have tawakkul on Allah Azza wa Jal. You have the dua as well. الدعاء سلاح المؤمن is the tool of the mu'min, to use this tool in order to invoke Allah Azza wa Jal and ask Allah Azza wa Jal. And you have the sa'i, you have to try as well to reach your goal. It's not just to sit down at home and recite dua and salah and that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go out. If you're looking for a job, apply applications, try to find the right place for work and so forth. So it's sa'i, attempting to find what you need, beside it, the dua and tawakkul and so forth.
May Allah bless you, inshallah, Sheikh. Thank you very much. We have another question, it is via YouTube, and it says, I have a serious skin condition. It is untreatable. Could you please recommend any du'as that I can recite which can give me shifa, inshallah?
Inshallah, as I've mentioned, to go back to Mafatih al-Jinan, I'm not sure if that dua for the skin is mentioned. Usually it's for the aches, stomach ache, toothache, مثلا mentioned. For the skin, I'm not sure. But in anyhow, you can recite dua al-Nur, Bismillah al-Nur, Bismillah nur al-Nur.
Yeah.
These are inshallah would put some cure, inshallah, for your condition.
Inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant this dear viewer a speedy recovery, and also grant all of you dear viewers to come to Karbala as soon as possible, and to have the blessing of being under the dome of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Sheikh, now we have another question. It is via YouTube, and it says, did the Prophet know that some compound would go against the Ahl al-Bayt?
The Prophet actually told his family that there's going to happen something after my demise.
Yeah.
He told them, and he said to Ali alayhi salam that, are you ready for this thing? He said, yes. The Imam submitted to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So yes, the Prophet told his family, and they cried. There's a long hadith with this regard. I think it's in maybe Kamil al-Ziyarat, one of the books of hadith. It mentions clearly the Prophet told them that things will happen to you after my demise. So be patient, sabr, kada, ila akhirih. Of course, he told them. They knew that.
Yeah.
And they had to be ready for it, because Allah did not create this world and did not send the Sharia and the religions with miracles.
Yeah.
He could have, with one, kun fayakun, would have made all people like Salman and Abu Dhar, radiyallahu alayhima. But this dunya is a trial and test and tribulation in which we have to offer tests and give tests, every one of us. Imma shakiran wa imma kafura. You be in the good side or the bad side.
Yeah.
In paradise or na'udhu billah, in hellfire.
I believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentioned in the Quran, فَإِن مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ انقلبتم على عقابكم. If you were to be killed or die,
exactly.
you were to retreat of
And
of
this was before the Prophet's demise from this world. انقلبتم, انقلاب. This inqilab against the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with his companions.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Shaykhna, we have another question. It is via YouTube and it says, what do I do with the zakat money that I take out?
The zakat, if you mean by khumus, of course, there's two portions for the khumus. One, sahmul imam and sahmul sada, to be paid to your alim, your marja that you follow. If it's zakat, you mean by the crops and cattle, of course, that's of course to be paid also wajib if you have large amount of, let's say, camels and sheep and so forth. Also to be considered to be paid with your marja as well in this regard.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, inshallah. Shaykhna, we have another question via YouTube and it says, how did the righteous companions of the Prophet and Imams gain physical strength while also eating less? Thank you very much.
Of course, I've heard from one of the ulama that they used to train during the times of peace and when there was no war. So they used to train somehow.
Inshallah, may Allah bless you, inshallah. Shaykhna, we have another question. It is via YouTube and it says, Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan Mubarak to you, dear viewer, as well. In many medical fields in the UK, for example, doctor or dentist, are required to be bare below the elbow to practice. What is the ruling regarding this for a female in this field?
I've actually asked one of the sisters who is a doctor, and she said that they are actually allowing us to wear, I think, like plastic sleeves, you know. I think, I don't know what they're called. So they can actually wear something to cover their arms with this regard. Otherwise, it's haram. You cannot work in such an environment and allowing your arms to be visible to non-mahram men in the hospital. You have to cover it in somehow. I think they are allowing this, some kind of a medical sleeves, I think they call it.
May Allah bless you, inshallah, Shaykhna. And Shaykhna, we have the last question of the night, and it says, if one worked in a place that was haram and was the only job they could find in their situation, what should one do? But they don't work there anymore now.
So now they have gained haram income as a result, wealth, let's say. Yes, best thing to contact the office of their alim, of their marja, and to come into some kind of settlement with this regard. What should be done with the haram money? Maybe he takes out khums from it, for example, to purify this money in somehow. So best thing to contact the office of the marja and to come into musalah, as they say, settlement with the alim, inshallah.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Shaykhna, dear viewers, brothers and sisters in Islam, we apologize to all the dear viewers out there that were not able to get their questions answered due to the lack of time. But inshallah, in the coming episode, we'll be at your service and answering all of your questions. But in the meantime, we leave you with the beautiful atmosphere of Karbala, and to remind you that we are live every single night in the holy month of Ramadan at 12 a.m. London time. For now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
سینه‌ام خسته آه هست الهی الهم حاصلم بار گناه هست الهی وای از آن روز که هر عضو تنم بر گنهی در حضور تو گواه است الهی پشتم از بار گناه خم شده و باز مرا به عطای تو نگاه هست الهی آنچه آوردم شب به در خانه تو